What is going on, people? What is going on, people? It's your boy Shill. And as always, we got the crew with us, Crypto Orangutan,
What's up, guys? Hello.
Crypto Verso.
What's up, guys?
And today I'm super excited, honored, all the good words to have a super special guest, BitLord, on the show. Welcome, BitLord.
How you going, guys? It's good to be here.
Welcome, bro.
Yeah,
it's
man.
actually his first podcast too, guys. So
first podcast ever, man. This is fucking epic. So yeah, we usually just start off the podcast to just kind of asking people like, what got you into cryptocurrency? Where did you first hear about it? And how do you kind of feel about the market right now?
I think back then, mate, like the only real sort of way to hear about Bitcoin, like generally it was, you'd hear something about the Silk Road or something like that. People would say there's this magic internet money where you can go ahead and buy drugs off the internet. And that just, that sounded ridiculous. And, I heard about that, and, I guess most people think that's a good concept. So I had to look into it, and, I discovered Bitcoin. It's more than some sort of, dodgy sort of, internet money. I actually looked into the concept of the blockchain. There's only 21 million of them. I could see, how the mining mechanism worked, and, it sort of interests me. So I thought, well, I'll get into it. And, once I got into it, I just never looked back. I mean, the whole idea that you could, you can hold your own coins. No one can take them off you. They're yours. They belong to you. I love that. So, that's sort of what got me into it. And I think, back then it was either that or the bubble that brought a lot of people into it, because you'd see it on the news, you'd see it, just keep going and going, and it got a lot of media coverage. So that was pretty much it. Today, the current market, I think it's, we've seen, I guess there's nothing we haven't seen before. I mean, we're at 20,000 around, December, January. We're now at like 6,300-400. It's the same shit, guys. It's just it's just another year in Bitcoin. So, I don't know how long this is going to go on for. I'd like to think that we're starting to wrap this up, but I guess the next sort of 2-3 weeks are going to determine that. I don't want to see any more downside, but I think if we do get it could probably be a good thing. I mean, the more time that we have to build things and to get ahead, the better, because one thing's for sure is we know there's a lot of people coming to it. There's a lot of infrastructure being built for Bitcoin, crypto in general. So sooner or later, guys, we're going to see a lot of people coming into this space from these services. And, I think it's a really good thing. So the more time we have now, the better.
So you don't believe we're in for like a 2 or 3 year bear market then, like a lot of people are saying?
Well, I don't know. I feel like the greater economy would need to go through something to really allow that to happen. I just don't see. I don't see a 2 to 3 year bear market. I mean, we have a block halving coming up in 2020. We have more and more people, downloading apps to be able to buy Bitcoin, buy crypto. We have, larger companies getting on board. We've seen the likes of Tencent and SoftBank sniffing around the Bitmain IPO, which I don't know if they're still involved in that. I have seen something from Samson Mao saying that he's got a good authority that they're not. But, it only really takes a really large company like that to integrate it in some way and present it to their customer base. And look, the likes of something like Tencent, guys, are massive. They have millions and millions and millions of customers, and maybe not Tencent, but we know there's going to be a company, there's going to be a product that integrates it somehow, possibly, and we're going to see a lot of people coming into the space. So personally, I don't think we're just quite ready yet. I feel like we need a lot more regulation. Things need to be a little more clearer, but there's nothing stopping anyone from jumping the gun. The only thing in that sense is, I guess, they'll be taking a really big risk. And, until then, I don't think they're going to.
Word, I dig it. One of the things I want to talk about, we'll get into some other questions, but one of the things I want to talk about was like your periscopes, right? So when I first really started getting involved in crypto Twitter and not just being an observer, but being a participant and sharing my opinions and thoughts online, your periscopes were 100% one of the things that super inspired me to start doing my own and make it my own style, and also just to share more about my opinions online. So like, how'd you get started in that stuff, and like what's the thing that like keeps you going on it? Like, well, why do you keep doing them?
Oh, I guess it was fun, mate. I mean, I think it was about the same time I started looking at, I wanted to produce some sort of content, and had a look at YouTube, and it was just full of fucking scammers and just people talking shit. And I thought, all right, I'll get on there. I could probably, put up some good sort of helpful stuff, like just throw it together and, spend some time on it and grow a channel. And I did a few things, and I sort of had a vision for it. And then I just thought, no, I don't like this. Like, I want to be able to engage with, the audience that I have on Twitter. I mean, like, guys that interact with and talk and enjoy yourself with. And then I noticed Periscope, and I was like, all right, cool, give it a shot. And it was just fun. It was just like good to, get on there, do a live stream. I mean, people can like talk, and you can see them talking, you can interact like that. It was good fun. So I had a lot of fun, getting on there, doing a bit of trolling, some sort of like, some sort of light sort of market updates, and just sort of what's happening, a bit of commentary, a lot of trolling, and I enjoyed it. So, that's how I just sort of kept doing them. I went for a period where I was doing a lot of them, and then, I just sort of slowed down a bit and gave it some time, and I'm, just starting to get onto them again. So, it's fun doing that. So, I'd like to see more people, trying it, giving a shot at it, because, it's quite enjoyable, and it's a really good way to interact with people. So
yeah. So another thing you've just recently you haven't properly launched it yet, but it's called G Trader Pro. So it's some sort of competition. Could you maybe like explain a little bit more on how it's going to work, and tell the people listening what it is exactly?
All right, this is pretty exciting. We've been working on this since last year, and what it is, I had an idea to be able to create like a crypto trading competition where everyone can sort of log in, create an account, register, set up, and then go ahead and, integrate your socials on there. So like, you could do Twitch, you could do Periscope, which you haven't integrated, Twitter, and you build your profile on there, you compete against other people. You have like a live updating leaderboard. So as you're competing in competition, you can see it chopping and change it. You can, you're versing other people to get yourself, in the money, take out the top spot. And, I always wanted to be able to do something like that myself. And then, I thought, well, why don't we build it? So we started last year, and now we're getting to this stage where, we're in a closed beta. We're improving it. We're about to go through and invite a few people on for the beta, and then we're going to do a public beta. So it's a pretty simple concept when you think about it. Just being able to log in, trade against other people, compete for these top prizes. But there's a lot of work behind it, and it's been quite a journey getting it to the stage that it's ready to go ahead and present to the world. So I'm excited. I mean, I think this is sort of something like crypto needs. Some sort of entertainment like this, where you can go ahead and actually compete. We want some of the guys from the scene doing live commentary. We want to do like video mashups of the best guys trading on Twitch. Integrate like a Rex bot for the comp and that sort of stuff. Top gainers. There's a lot behind it. So I'm just excited to get it out there, get people actually trading, get a bit of feedback, and complete like actually one of these live tournaments, and go ahead and improve on that, and sort of make it a thing. So that's what's happening there.
And where are where's the prize money going to come from for these?
Okay, so at the moment, we looked at two different ways to do this. We thought, okay, we can have people go ahead and set up accounts, and then they can trade against each other, and they'll be on a ranking system. So 1 to 1,000 or whatever the case it is, and then you can match yourself up against people, but then you don't really. You can't really have a prize system without being able to pay for a competition. So we looked at the poker model, the early days of poker, and how online poker took off really quickly. It was massive, it was huge. But the problem with that was a lot of governments and banks cracked down on it, and it became very hard for people to be able to access. Now we look at crypto, we don't have that problem. We're not going to have that problem. So it can become very big quite quickly. So we thought about integrating the sort of system where you buy into a pot. So, let's say you're signing up for $100, you have your buy-in, and then you have your bankroll, for example. So it's the exact same sort of concept as poker. You buy into the competition, that goes towards the pot, and then you have your bankroll, and that's what you're going to be using to compete and trade against these other players.
Oh, nice. And are you going to limit it to any like sort of exchanges, or can anyone trade any shitcoin they want? I'm talking trade ogre shitcoin.
Okay, all right. We looked at this initially and we thought, okay, it would be the smartest thing to do would be to focus on the exchanges with the largest liquidity, because if we get to a stage where the competition is quite large, we don't want to be, affecting the markets or have people being in there able to manipulate the market. So if you're doing something like this on Cryptopia, for example, it's very easy to, wash money around and, put yourself on the top spot fraudulently. So if you can hack the market, that means you're a good trader. So, we focus on BitMEX for now. The way that we've built it, we can actually plug the API in through any major exchange. So we can set this up on, BitMEX, Binance, Gemini, Coinbase, Polo, Bittrex, anything. So we're going to limit it to BitMEX and Binance to begin with, and then we'll see how the other markets are doing and possibly integrate it there. But I think BitMEX and Binance will probably be what we stay with for now.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, a question we usually ask at the beginning, but we kind of got a bit sidetracked. Are there any coins you're looking at right now, or any ICOs that you're interested in? It's kind of like a weekly shill, but anything that, take your fancy right now?
Not really, mate. I mean, if anything, it's an interesting position. I mean, a lot of alts, they've lost a lot of value since December, January. I'm not in any major rush to start moving back into anything, but I guess if anybody's coming into the scene new, I'd probably try to focus on looking at setting yourself up with a good stable portfolio of trusted coins that have been around for a while. Bag them up, take them offline. Have the plan to leave them there for 2 to 5 years, that sort of thing. There's nothing I'm going to shill right now, particularly. I think if you can find these older established coins, I think they're a lot of these are really good long-term holds. For some of these ICOs that are starting to come out, a lot of them are just too risky to hold on a long-term basis, because as you've seen, a lot of these projects, they're just not going to be able to complete the end goal. So that everybody wants to recreate the wheel, but I don't think I think it's going to be a very low success rate. So if anything, if you've been in the scene for a while and you're wrecked, I think the best thing for you to do is just sort of, look at where you went wrong, what you could do better. And if you're new, I think, you should start be looking at, plotting a possible entry on, a top basket of coins that you want to set aside for long term. Because fact is, most people aren't traders. The more they try to trade, the more they're going to destroy their balances. So look, if you're coming in new, you're not a trader, set yourself up for 2 to 5 years, and that'll be the way to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. A lot of traders come in and they'll come in on the crypto Twitter and they'll see everybody posting their charts, making it look easy, when the fact is that 90% of the time all the charts people are posting on Twitter are just hindsight trades. And they're not getting any real information. While it looks cool that you can draw a couple lines on a chart, you're going to end up losing money most of the time unless you're really experienced. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. And
not just that, but I know BitLord, you talk about it a lot, and I talk about it a little bit as well. The fact is, like, most people aren't they're not skilled in like TA and FA, but they're also not skilled in like emotional management. Like, they can't handle the fact that like when their coin pumps 400%, they can't handle the pressure of it, and they can't sell it because they're like, oh, what if it pumps 500 or 600%? Like people can't handle their emotions. Like, you want to talk about that a little bit with me?
Yeah, definitely, mate. And look, I've been there. I think we've all been there, and that's where it changes. I mean, as much as someone can give you advice and say, look, when this happens, do this, do that. Sometimes you just actually need to fuck it up yourself. And, you know, I've managed to fuck it up a lot of times. So I guess now I'm a lot more sort of chilled, and, you know, I can manage these feelings and emotions a lot better. But the thing is, like, even in saying that, when things really get going, like when it is alt season and it's day after day, you're seeing, you know, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 30% gains. Tomorrow, 50, 60% gains. You know, it keeps going and going. 2, 3, 4, 500%. That shit fucks with your head. It really does fuck with your head, especially, you know, you go ahead and sell something and it keeps moving. It's very difficult to you know, to sort of look at that and watch it keep going. And I think a lot of people, you've seen these coins do these crazy things where they go a couple thousand%, and you always think about the fact that if I'm selling this now, it could be one of those coins, so maybe I should just hold it. And that's what got a lot of people wrecked through December, January, is thinking, look, these things are going to keep on going forever. Everyone's going to the fucking moon. But the fact is, we're already on the moon. You know, Bitcoin's at 20,000. You know, Ethereum's over 1,300. Everything has just gone mental. And if anything, it really was a time to start taking some cream off the top. You know, start locking in some profit, start taking some gain. But, you know, I think everybody was, well, not everyone. I think a lot of the crowd is just sort of really hungry to keep on going. And I can understand that. It's like, you know, when there's a really good party, there's a really good event, you just want to keep on going.
Yeah, it's pretty worrying. I saw a few people tweet out, like, one of them, Moon Overlord, he tweeted out, did you take out a $1 profit from the alt season, or the Bitcoin runs 20K? And the amount of people that say they didn't take anything out. Also, someone else tweeted out, a really interesting question, if Bitcoin went to 0, would you be richer than you were when you first started? And so many people said no. So it's pretty worrying how little people took out on the run to 20K. It's very worrying, actually. And it's they're learning a very expensive lesson right now.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I looked at that and I thought, surely people are taking the piss on this. Like, surely
they're not.
Yeah.
I really don't. I actually think that is underestimating it. I honestly think that it's even worse than that poll suggests.
Well, I feel like most of the people who got completely wrecked aren't even active anymore. You know, they just gave up and stopped paying attention to it.
I mean, most people don't even look at portfolios anymore. They are just sitting here waiting for a reversal so that one day they can come back to even 50% of their investment. But right now it's like whoever stayed right now and is like minus 90% will stay here like till the end. Like, he's fucked already. It doesn't matter.
They're going down with the ship.
Yeah, he's going down with the ship for sure. BitLord, I got a question. Where do you see the ICO market going forward? Because right now, obviously, there is like no single ICO that can make you money outside of maybe some private sales. But do you see us going again to that level, like in January, February, when it's like a real bubble, every single ICO makes money? Or do you think that this, with regulations and like too many coins right now on the market, like there won't be enough buying pressure to justify another jump in this?
Oh, I think we had it really good, mate. I think we had a period where, you know, we had an absolute free market. It was just, you know, everyone was just doing whatever the fuck they wanted. You know, guys were setting up, you know, little companies, you know, offshore. They were going ahead and then, you know, whipping together a white paper, throwing up a website, putting together a chat room, you know, setting aside bonuses, you know, opening up their wallets, and bam, people would just throw money because, you know, one ICO went, you know, 5x, 10x, et cetera, and then it just became this thing where, you know, get in as early as you can, you know, flip these things. And, you know, some of them kept going. Some of them kept going really well. And I guess that's what caused a lot of people to hold on to them. I mean, I knew a lot of guys that held, you know, coins like One Chain, you know, they're still holding. I'm like, fuck me, you got in the ICO. I just can't believe that, you know, you don't take some profit, you don't take some cream off the top. Nowadays, I think those days are over for ICOs, because we're seeing increased regulation. We're seeing, you know, government sort of step in. They've been very clear. Look, ICOs are securities. In some cases, they are not. But, you know, we're looking at things like, you know, Ethereum, ADA, things like that. They did their ICO, the pre-sale, in a sort of different era, and now I just think we've reached a point of saturation where, you know, there's only a certain amount of really good blockchain developers in the world. They're all working on their current projects. I feel like, you know, even if there is something like that comes along, I just don't know what it's going to do differently. I can't see. I mean, look, guys, we've heard it all. You know, blockchain 3.0. We're implementing smart contracts with stable coins, with this, that, and the other. Please, like we really have. We've seen it. We've seen it all before, and I don't think that in this next run or you know, going forward, we're going to have another boom like that, because it's just, you know, it's pretty clear the securities, and a lot of these teams that have raised money, they haven't managed it responsibly. They have essentially gambled with investors' money. You know, they've raised money at $820 ETH or over 1,000. A lot of them didn't sell it. They sold it for half price. They've destroyed their project funding, their budgets, and, you know, a lot of them aren't going to deliver. So I think we're going to see, you know, the investors protected a lot better on this next run. But you know, in saying that, I think, you know, there could be a few opportunities out there. I'm not having quite a large focus on the ICO market right now, but you know, I'm certainly not actively, you know, looking to invest in any of these things right now. If anything, I'm interested in startups that have a business plan. You know, they have a good idea, something basic where I can see it's going to make money. That's what I'm interested in right now.
I think that that definitely an area within the ICO market that we haven't really seen a lot of that will be very profitable is existing companies with already, you know, revenue positive or at least, you know, semi-profitable incomes have their own ICOs that, you know, are incorporated into already existing systems rather than entirely new projects. What's that?
Well, we already had few of those. For example, Restart Energy was the company that already had revenue much higher than their overall market cap, but like never caught up like wide audience. So it might take some time before we actually start to appreciate companies that has that revenue.
Sure. But I think that, you know, most of the companies that do have legitimate businesses have been staying out for the most part just because of the regulatory uncertainty. But once things become a little bit more clear, we'll see a lot more existing companies starting their own ICOs.
Well,
if they
couple things there. First off, yeah, I agree. Like we're at such the beginning phases that companies just raise money and they're not going to have profit for a while. Like if you look at most of the really big companies who are profitable right now in just the world, not even in the crypto space, it took them years to fucking get there. Like it's not like they just turned around and in 6 months they're a profitable company. But that leads me into my next question, the question about ICOs. Like, BitLord, are you like interested in STOs at all? Have you looked into them? And do you have any like thoughts on that potential market coming up? What's
an STO, mate? It sounds like a disease.
I know, right?
I don't want it.
It's a security tokens offering. So like people are now, instead of creating utility tokens, a lot of the market's moving towards creating security tokens. And that seems to be kind of the new big hype that people are hyped about in probably the next 6 months. It'll start happening.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I mean, it's just another buzzword. I mean, IPO is just another. It's just another word for. Oh, sorry, ICO is just another word for IPO. It's just an illegal version of it. You know, these things are securities. So something like a securities token. I think I did a tweet, or I actually did do a tweet about what I thought a securities token was. I think might have been last year or a couple of months ago. Might have even done a Periscope on it as well. But what I think a security token is, it basically is nothing special, because, you know, we have a company that's, you know, it's going to IPO, and in this case, instead of just getting, you know, a share certificate or stock for it, you get a token as well. But, you know, can you go ahead and take that token off a off a registered compliant platform and keep it in your home or something like that? I don't think so, because then it's not going to be compliant. So I think, if companies want to issue a token for their, if companies want to issue a token for their company, I think that's great, but I don't see how we can, take this into the crypto world and, send it across. If I get a token, for example, Apple, it's just an example. I mean, any sort of company, can I then send that token to my friend in Europe? And then, for example, that token equals 1 Apple stock. I could get paid cash for that, or, it just introduces a whole bunch of, or it's not exactly compliant with AML KYC policies. So I don't think, it's a big thing. I think it's an interesting way to attract attention. I mean, the first security tokens that we were getting hyped about last year, it would have been towards the end of last year, was the Gab offering. We thought they were doing the right thing, registering with the Securities Exchange Commission. We thought they had a good product, growing user base, so can see potential in that. And, they want to go ahead and do a securities token offering. But the way I see it, the only way these things are going to be traded, in the crypto world, will be the likes of Poloniex and Bittrex in the US, because Polo and Bittrex, they're doing the groundwork. They're working with regulators. So, if we do get any sort of legitimate security token, that's where I think it's, they're going to be traded on Bittrex and Polo. But I don't think we'll be able to withdraw them and send them around the world. So I guess that's my view on security tokens.
Cool. Fuck yeah. Well, one of the main things that switching away from like the crypto talk, I guess one of the main things that I'm also interested in is like how you deal with like hate online. We were talking about it before, and like there's a lot of people that hate on paid groups, and we see that conversation happen a lot, especially in your realm. And like, how do you deal with that shit? And what's your like kind of take on all that?
Straight away, I mean, if someone was to like come out and say it, like, come out, motherfuckers, like have a look at the media, have a look at the, a lot of the calls, a lot of the trades that we did last year when I opened a paid group. I posted a lot of them online, and these things come with like stop loss targets. Some of them come with position sizing, and fuck me, they hit. And I haven't even done the calculations on the signals channels, but I dare say it'd be well over 1,000% or something like that. Look, I know there's a lot of paid groups out there that go ahead and say buy this or do that. The price just fucking crashes through. It goes down 20-30%. If it does go up, then it's like, oh look, we made money. That's bullshit. Those drawdowns are unacceptable. So that's my stance on it. But the thing is, like, not everyone's perfect, and it is really hard to manage a paid group or a team like that. And it's just something that I guess if you've got the right, if you're doing the right thing and you're looking to be able to help people, that you're only going to get better. You're going to continue growing as a person and as a trader as you're managing a team. But there are a lot of people doing the wrong thing. And I think those days are sort of coming to an end. You can't go ahead and do these shady underground things like you could a year ago. It's just not acceptable. I mean, people will call you out, and if you're going to get big and go ahead and buy something and then shill it to dump it, fuck, like it's just not going to last long.
Do you feel like you're? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like in regards to, copying shit about paid groups and that sort of stuff, I think that, a lot of people wish they could open a paid group because, it is quite good. I mean, people are paying you to learn and teach how to trade. And if you can deliver those numbers, it's a good thing. But I don't know. I guess they do get a lot of shit. And look, I used to give them a lot of shit as well. I first used to see these pay groups, and I used to be so sussed on them, and I used to think these motherfuckers were scamming like left, right, and center. And there was only one guy that I thought was that was any good, and that was Kazanomics. You know, and I was pretty naive for a while. I mean, there was a couple other pay groups out there. I had a bit more of a look into it, and you know, it's sort of inspiring. Like, you know, these guys are doing the right thing. They're actually teaching. They're teaching people, you know, how to conduct themselves in the market, how to manage their money, how to manage their trades. And you know, it was an awesome thing. These days, you know, there doesn't look to be a lot of pay group action, and that's because the markets, the markets are like this.
Do you not think that there's been more because of the markets? I've seen a lot of random people opening up paid groups because the market's so fucked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people just come out and you're just like, who the fuck is that guy? I was gonna ask before, do you feel like your growth in followers and stuff has influenced the way you trade? Because there's a lot more pressure on you, a lot more eyes watching you, waiting for you to fuck up. Do you feel like you've changed from when you were smaller and the way you trade in general?
I mean, like when I first started, mate, I was, you know, I was pretty rough. I mean, I was pretty savage, and you know, I'd be happy to buy something and then shill it on Twitter and, you know, get interest to it. And, you know, like sometimes I'd be so excited that I found this good coin and I want to share it. And I felt like, you know, I could share it and say, you know, this is a good coin. These are reasons why, like, fucking check this shit out. And that's what it was all about. It's like this big clusterfuck where everyone would just be like shilling and going crazy. But I feel like it got to a point where, you know, you can't, you know, if you're like a real small account or something and you're finding like some small little coin on this unknown exchange and there's no liquidity or something like that, you know, you can mention that coin and go out and express yourself, because, you know, it's not going to reach a lot of people. You know, maybe some other people like check that hashtag or cash tag and see it, and then, you know, sort of resonate with that and, you know, maybe look into it a bit more or something, or just, you know, view your insights on it. But as you get bigger, you know, if you go ahead and tweet something about a small shitcoin in an exchange, you're going to send the price like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 600%. And that's entirely irresponsible. I mean, even on some of these markets that are like 50, 100 mil, when some of these groups are shilling signals for them, and, you know, they've got a large number of people in there that are throwing around a couple coins each. I mean, fuck, it doesn't take a genius to understand that, look, you're moving the markets, you know, issuing these signals or doing this. And then, you know, on top of that, they'll go ahead and tweet something, and it's like, come on. So it just, you know, I think you get to a stage where you need to start being responsible. You need to start thinking about your actions and how it is you're impacting the market, and just do the right thing. I mean, there's no, well, I guess there is a rule book, but it's just, you know, sort of common shit here. You know, common sense, a bit of morals and ethics. But, you know, I think a lot of people got way carried away in that last run, and I think a lot of people have learned from that now. So, you know, in this next thing, or in this next move, whenever the hell it may be, and it might be downwards, you know, I think I expect to see people conduct themselves differently.
Yeah. I guess it's hard though, because some people, it's hard to see when someone's genuinely like trying to share a coin that they really believe in, and when someone's trying to just pump it. I do agree. Before I didn't agree, but I do agree. Shilling a coin that has no liquidity when you're a huge account is just irresponsible, because a lot of people, 90% of people are going to get caught and dumped on. So yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like,
hey, look, I'll say, look, I've shilled coins before. And I know the market has moved. But now, you know, I don't shill coins now. I try not to. If there's a large cap or something, you know, I feel more open to be able to, you know, push something like that out there. But I feel like if you're a big account, you've got a lot of people watching what you're doing. If you're showing these small caps and that sort of stuff, it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't think it should be going down.
It's tough, because some people would say smaller cap, you know, bigger profit potential. I don't know. It's tough. Monkey, what do you think about it?
I mean, depends. Well, it depends how you do it, because we all know some guys here that like to post really small caps and doesn't give a shit about it if they post 10 times a day about them, because they probably got paid to promote them anyway. I mean, you know, you can tweet about it or not. It's like it's always up to the person that buys it. I mean, some people might actually make money on this. Some people will actually get wrecked no matter what you tweet about. It's all about like having this kind of like balance in what you do. It like you can talk about the coin, but do not promote it and do not say to buy it. I mean, you can tip, like give a small information like shit. Yeah, actually, no. Right now in this market conditions, at my following, I have no idea how to not make Shilling lockups sound like I'm actually planning to make money on them. So yeah, I'm agreeing on this one.
Well, it's hard, mate, because like Shilling is fun. It's enjoyable. I love Shilling. There's nothing more fun than a good shill. So you know, it is a really enjoyable thing to shill. It's like when you go down to the races, and you put money on a horse or a dog or something. You're like, go go go. That's exciting. That's funny. That's shilling. It's just like if you do it in this instance, yeah, it's gonna go. It's gonna go.
I think undisclosed
becomes a
page
problem
shills
when-
are the problem.
Yeah, with that in a moment, like it becomes a problem because if you get like 1 or 2 successful shills, you basically got all other people expecting you for your next call to also succeed, which then automatically puts some more pressure on you. When you shield those shitcoins all the time, nobody even bothers checking them anymore. So this like
Yeah, it just devalues your brand, and people aren't going to take you seriously if you're just shilling shit coins all the time. The thing is, there's a big difference between shilling a coin you believe in and undisclosed paid shills, for example. Like we saw the rise of some Twitter page, Shillex. What are your thoughts on paid shills and that kind of thing?
It's like it's the same as like the way I view it. It's like someone's gonna come out and start mentioning a coin. It's like like a covert shill. You go ahead and start talking about a coin, like have a look at this. Oh, look what it's doing. Oh, interesting. Oh, they've got these updates. They've got something. Start talking about it to generate interest on that coin. It's a covert way to go ahead and shill something, which interests maybe more people to look into it. If there's some interesting things going on, it's going to generate some attention. And it's very easy to spot something like that. Well, for me anyway, I think a lot of people can, maybe not a lot of new guys coming to the scene can see that going on, or can see what the difference between like just some sort of conversation or some covert shilling and maybe even not be able to spot a paid ad. But the way I see it, if you're talking about something, if you're shilling something, I just feel it's very easy to see. If there's like links, if there's links to something and this and that. I mean, if someone's talking about an ICO and there's a link to it, or
Telegram page.
Yeah, there's a ref link. I mean, it's pretty damn obvious. But I mean, I saw that Shillex thing come out, and then I thought, well, I don't know. None of this is news to me. Like, none of this is news to me. I look at it, I was like, what the fuck is the point of this? This dude is spending his time like calling people out for getting paid to shill stuff, and I'm just sitting there thinking, man, why the fuck are you wasting your time on this? Like, literally, you could be doing something constructive and making some money or whatever. But then again, I do see his point. He wanted to make things a little more transparent, which I can understand. But the thing is, like, if you're gonna shill stuff, you're doing it. Even if you're talking about something, you're doing it for a reason. Maybe it interests you. Maybe you're making money for it. Whatever the case, like everyone is shilling something in some way. And it could even just be yourself. Like everyone's shilling something.
Yeah.
Well, I think that acts as a good segue into our next topic here, which is, are there any projects right now that are really standing out to you, even in this bear market?
Spot the latecomer. We already asked him.
Oh, we already asked that. Oh my god.
Well, actually, there is one. Look, there is one project that I'm potentially going to work with for a little bit. We're just going through like the initial stages. Like I'm going through the white paper. I'm having a look and taking notes and trying to point them in the right direction on a few things. And I think there's potential there. It's just a pretty big project, and I feel like the best way to get on top of something like that is to simplify it and condense it, and then go ahead and understand, okay, like that's what you want to do. Like we'll go ahead, we'll get a prototype or we'll test it, and then how exactly, or even before that stage, like how exactly are we going to go ahead and make money from this? What's the whole business model? And I think they've spent a lot of time on that. It's just getting it to something I can understand. So look, if it goes on with them, then yeah, I'll definitely shill it. And yeah, I'll probably mention like, yeah, I'm paid X amount or whatever the case to shill this. But yeah, until then,
Is
I'll
it an
just
advisory role?
I guess it is, mate. It's sort of some consulting right now, but I didn't really want to go and start consulting. But I mean, this guy, the way he approached me, I mean, look, I get a lot of ICOs and things like that say, look, can you help us out, or can you promote this or that? And most of the time, I just reply like, 1 BTC to even look at it or something like that. Like literally, pay me 1 Bitcoin and I'll fucking look at it. And a lot of them, don't reply or say like, are you joking that? And I'm definitely not joking. I've had a few that, have sort of gone ahead and been like, yeah, no worries. But the project, what they were doing, I didn't agree with, and I thought it was shit. I've actually written reports that go ahead and say that. And I said, you're welcome to use it. They obviously never use it. But the way this guy approached me, he was like, look, this is where we're at now. And, we want a bit of help with it. And he sort of told me the idea in a nutshell, and I sort of liked it. So that's pretty much the stage that we're at now.
Ooh.
Well, that sounds more healthy than a lot of
actual advisory role, right? It's not like only marketing stuff. You actually help them develop the whole product. So it's a little bit different. Most of the time, ICOs approach you, it's like has nothing to do with actually helping the ICO. It's mostly just using your brand. So this is
Yeah, it's more of like, yeah, that's true. We had was it I think it was McAfee or Vinny on the podcast, and we asked them, what are your thoughts? Yeah, McAfee. We asked him, what are your thoughts on advisory like roles? And this is John McAfee, right? And he straight up said like that 99% of them are just bullshit. So it was pretty interesting. But if like you said, you were actually, giving them feedback, changing stuff like that for them, then I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the guys are pretty cool. They're listening and going ahead and are prepared to make changes. And I think a lot of them are more focused on just whipping something together, slopping it together, and just getting money thrown at them. That's pretty much what they want. They just want to whip something together and have people throw money at them. And I don't like that. So, when I see a team that's prepared to spend the time developing it, do the hard work, that interests me. The only problem is it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to sit down and do these things. And, there's not a lot of that right now.
True that.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said that you do not know exactly, you don't want to predict what will happen like the next 2 or 3 weeks. But if you could like say what would be your strategy for the next 3 weeks trading wise? Are you like sitting right now in only BTC, or are like having some outs, or planning to buy in a short time? Like what would be your plans for the short term?
At the moment, mate, I'm just sitting on USD, BTC. I've got all my old long-term alts tucked away, but I'm not trading this right now. I've done very little trading. Maybe I will in the next day or two. Maybe even tonight if actually I doubt tonight, maybe the next day or two. What I'm looking for here, I mean, I'm looking at the weekly now. I want to see this weekly close above 6,400, ideally above 6,450 to 6,550. And then I think that'll set the next weekly up to push on through and challenge 6,800, maybe even get a nice wick through to touch 7. So that'd be how I'd be looking at attacking this. If we close below 6,300, I guess about 6,350 to maybe really bad, I'd say it'd be under 6,300. I'd be a little bit spooked for the next weekly because I feel that's really sort of getting in position to threaten the 6K support. And if we break clear under 6K and close on the weekly, you can be sure as shit that we're going to be paying a swift visit to 5K. So I feel like it sort of depends on where this weekly closes, because we're starting to get to the stage now where we're setting up the monthly And if we have a quick look at the monthly, we certainly want to close this with a nice wick on that fat red candle. We don't want this thing closing deep, because then it's really setting us up for like a lower 5K test on the next one. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and I'm not actively trading it.
What would you consider a reversal? Like for you, what is a concrete reversal where you're like, yeah, it's time for a bull market? Or do you not have one?
I look for a lot of volume. Look, guys, I think we've come off 20K. We've hit the 6K area twice. The first time we hit it, we danced around for a couple of weeks and then jumped up to about 8.5. Come straight back down. We've hit it again. I feel like we do need, around 2 months of consolidation, 3 months of consolidation before we'll see any sort of major moves. And I feel like that's going to need to be backed up with a lot of volume. I want to see. I'm actually using Bollingers right now. I don't use these too often, but I want to see these things squeeze right up and then pop in the right direction with volume. Are we going to get that before the end of this year? Well, I don't know. I feel like we'll probably trade between, and this is pretty loose. I guess we'll probably trade between 10K. And I think we'll trade between 10K and 4.6 for the until next year. I don't feel we're just going to shoot up on our way to the moon.
I think that the bull market would essentially be a higher high. That's what would determine a bull market, and that would be if we can break past 9K again, or 8,500 in this case. But I think that if we're consolidating, it would be under 8,500, 9K.
Yeah, I feel like we'll find. I mean, just looking now. I mean, if you're looking at the momentum of this, it doesn't feel like. Look, we're not just going to shoot on up through all of this overhead horizontal resistance. It feels like the earliest that we could push through and break 8.5 looks around to be November. I really feel like we need to, we need to push across this range for a good couple months before we get there. But look, this is a lot of the reason why I'm not trading right now, because I'm just not 100% certain, and I don't want to lose any money getting chopped up on margin. I'd rather just comfortably sit back, work on these projects, develop some things, and that's my gig right now. I don't want to be sitting there losing money trading. And to be honest, I'm not really enjoying trading like I used to anymore. It doesn't give me that same sort of excitement. It's just sort of like fucking boring now. So, that's what this whole change is about doing something that I enjoy. And, trading is just not really that right now.
Yeah, I can't blame it. There's a lot of good traders getting murdered right now out there with those weeks in this range. So it is not a really good spot to scalp.
Yeah.
I feel like now's a good time for 15-minute scalping action, and that's pretty much it. Like in a lot of scalping, that's who I think is doing really well, guys that are trading like that.
When we tweeted out about this podcast, we asked people to ask a few questions. So we'll ask this one first. The crypto.
I haven't even looked at them.
To be honest, they're not the best questions, some of them. So Billy Valentine asked, does BitLord still hold Legends Room token? And what are your thoughts about the future of the coin?
Okay. I think I do have some of that on Bittrex. I've got some lying around. And look, guys, like Legends was a really sort of fun adventure for me. I went there around all-time high, and I had an absolute blast in Vegas. It was fucking awesome. It's changed a lot now. They've realized, look, they want to. When I went there, like when I first sort of saw what they were doing, it was like a strip club where you could go and they had crypto, you could pay in crypto and do all that sort of stuff. And I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a scam for so long because they'd post pictures of like girls and crypto and stuff. And I was like, nah, scam. Like, you know, no one's like that. And I used to always tweet to them and say, like, this is a scam, like, stop it. And they got back to me and they're like, it's not a scam. And I was like, it is. And then I just kept saying, look, fly me out there and I'll verify, like, I'll be the judge of that. And they actually took me up on that offer. And I was like, all right, sweet. So, you know, I went out and I checked it out. It was awesome. And the one thing was, so like I spent, how long was I there? Shit, I was there for a while. I can't remember. I was there for a while.
In Legends Room or in Vegas?
Legends Room, right? So yeah, I went out there and it was cool. Like they hooked me up with hotels, like limo driver, wherever the hell I wanted to go. They really looked after me. And the one thing was that like I spent so much time in this strip club. Like I would just literally, I would wake up, I'd get fucked up, you know, I'd smoke weed and stuff, and then I'd go to the strip club, order a couple bottles, have some fun, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm doing so much of that, and I was getting so fucked up, and I wanted to see more of Vegas. I wanted to see, like, you know, some of the top clubs in Vegas, and, you know, I sort of gave them that feedback, and they look. I think other people were saying that as well. So then they changed their model to go ahead and not just do the strip club. They went ahead and they rebranded and they got in with the Bellagio, which is the MGM Grand company, and they got set up at the Hyde. So now it's like you go there, it's more sort of mainstream. You know, they're in this really big, really cool nightclub, and you know, you can pay for your drinks, you can pay for you know, your bottle service and stuff in the club. It's really cool. If you're a member, you get access to the downstairs fountain thing. I think you might even get your own private bathroom and that sort of stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, initially it was just going to be a strip club. So now they've opened up like that, and they get a lot of traffic through there. You get a lot of interesting people come through there. So yeah, I do still hold the coin. I'm going to need to use it, obviously, next time we go back to Vegas. And I like, in regards to the future of the coin, I think, look, these guys are the first ones in the scene to be able to do something like this. So I think that's pretty interesting. I've actually been talking to them on and off, you know, about some things, but I've been so busy caught up in what I'm doing that I haven't been able to spend a lot of time seeing, you know, what they're up to and what they're doing, you know, into the end of the year. I know they've got some stuff coming on where they're wanting to do some stuff in Miami and I think the Bahamas. So look, if you have, you know, if you have a couple coins and you like to party, you know, these guys can really show you and set you up with a sort of, a real sort of cool scene. So I think you know, if anybody is in Vegas, you definitely need to be a member. You definitely need to check it out. And I feel as more people come to learn what they're doing, I think it can be a big thing. So that's my thoughts on the future of the coin.
This is not a paid advertisement, by the way. Someone genuinely just asked that.
Yeah, I'm actually headed there tomorrow, so it should be pretty cool to what's up.
Someone else asked, do you think futures and leverage trading has wrecked the alts market for unseasoned traders?
What?
I don't understand what he means. Like, wrecked it.
The cryptarian said, do you think futures and leverage trading wrecked the alts market for noob traders?
Some noob trader going in and seeing that you can, you know, use 100x leverage and using it irresponsibly.
Actually, no, the new unskilled traders wreck themselves. The leverage didn't make you do it. You know, you slid that bar up. No one made you do it. But look, I think it's important for people to experiment with leverage and you know, go ahead and have some fun playing in margin, but I think everyone needs to understand that the chances of you losing money in there are much higher than trading spot. So understand, if you're going to go ahead and fund an account, you want to make sure that what you're putting in, you're prepared to lose. It's like a casino. You know, you don't go to the casino thinking, you go to the casino thinking, yeah, I'm prepared to lose this. You might come out and do really well, but you just need to know, yeah, what I'm putting in, I might not see. And that's part of the enjoyment. With leverage trading, when you're first starting out, I think it's important to understand that as well. And when you've got that option of trading 100 times more than what you have, it is very exciting. It's like, you put 1 Bitcoin in, all of a sudden, you've got the power of 100 Bitcoins at your fingertips. That can fuck with your head. It can really fuck with your head. And I guess a lot of people get into that and they abuse it. And that's where we see a lot of them get damaged. So I think it's more education on, people need to be a lot more educated before they just start jumping in and playing the YOLO game. So that's my thoughts. No, the markets, these things you wreck yourself. These things don't wreck you.
I saw someone arguing on Twitter saying that trading is gambling. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's not taxed as gambling. It's not taxed as gambling. So there we go. Case closed.
I wish it was.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it depends where you are, But I mean, that's the whole thing on G Trader Pro. I mean, trading isn't gambling, and that's the whole reason why people can come, they can buy, and they can compete against other traders. And it's why it's very hard to do that for something like poker, because you're going to have regulators breathing down your neck if you try to do something like that and you're not compliant. You have US traders, etc., on your platform. It's very hard. So no, it's not trading.
All right, quickly, last question, because I know it's nearly been an hour. From Twitter. So someone said, do you think the current BitMirror from London Block Exchange asked, do you think the current sentiment on crypto Twitter will change as the cycle potentially swells bullish? Do you think like the sentiment on Twitter, crypto Twitter, will change as we start to go bullish?
I think he could have probably answered that question. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What the fuck?
No, we're going to stay bearish. We're gonna start taking off and stay bearish. No, of course. I mean, look, any breath of fresh air in crypto. I mean, like you just need like a 3% candle, and the sentiment is fucking.
Okay, something interesting though. CNBC, Fast Money.
Oh shit!
Before I go, they posted a poll. Do we think that this is the rebound or not? And of the nearly 9,000 people that answered that poll, 89% of them said,
I'm pretty sure it was botted. It wasn't like the real score.
Well, okay, I don't know. There was a huge number saying that it's very bearish. So how high do you think we have to go before the sentiment actually changes to bullish?
A couple hundred.
I mean, do you really think that 3% and then all of a sudden, because like yesterday we did more than that, but do you think that 3%, or like what does it take really for everyone to be convinced that we've seen the bottom now?
Well, I think right now it's pretty clear we're in a downtrend, and it's a 6 month downtrend. But don't forget we're still in a 9-year bull market. I guess that it really depends, like, how you're looking at this. I mean, for the general sentiment to be like, it's over, get the fuck in, and people to start going crazy and doing stupid shit. I feel like we need to be over, breaking clear above 8.4, 8.5. That's a pretty significant horizontal.
All right, fair enough.
Cool. Well,
I told you the questions were shit, by the way. Sorry.
No, I guess it depends. I mean, I think that it is a good question. I mean, maybe, yeah. I guess there's different ways to look at it.
Cool. Mm. Well, that pretty much brings us on the hour mark here. BitLord, it's been fucking epic. I'm super glad we got to meet. I'm super glad that we got to jump on a podcast and talk some shit.
Thanks for coming on.
Some questions. Yeah, seriously, thank you for coming on. And dude, I mean, it's hella
Before
cool.
we end, the last question now.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying it's hella cool that he's this is his first podcast and we get to host him on it. So that's
yeah,
cool.
Bro, you're a natural, honestly. People in the chat were saying
dude. Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
killed
seem
it.
like it's your first podcast.
So we always end the podcast and we always ask everybody, if you could give one piece of advice for someone who's like new to the space, what would that piece of advice be?
I'd say you want to spend a lot of time understanding what you're getting into. You want to know. Look, you're coming into crypto. You're starry eyes. You think this is the quick way to get rich, but it's not. As you've seen, like a lot of people are damaged from this. So I think you need to spend a lot of time understanding what you're getting into, study the markets, understand how to manage risk. A lot of people come into this, they want to trade. There's a good chance that you're not a trader. Most traders actually spend over 4 years of their trading career losing money, and that's a hard statistic. So I guess the best thing is come in and understand, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And put your energy and time towards that. But I don't think you can just step in and get rich, because that's a really good way to get hurt. So I'd say put the effort in. Definitely put the effort in.
Perfect, dude. Perfect. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. As always, we got Captain Coinage, Crypto Orangutan, Crypto Verso, and I'm Shill Nye. This has been Netflix and Shill. We'll catch you all next time.